Hey everybody, hope it's not too smoky looking. So, gonna do a review dedicated to action podcast. Uh, I think they do some of the best, funniest reviews that I've heard. Like I listened to some of their reviews. Like I listen to music, for certain parts and. They're really funny, man. Like, I've had. I remember I was at work. I was listening to it and I was dumping trash, and one of them said something, and I started laughing so loud. Like I'm glad I wasn't inside. I don't think I would have been able to stop myself. That's like, they're like the only reviewers that do that to me. There's some that are funny, but no. And then I dislike when reviewers try to be funny and they think they're funny and they're laughing at themselves. I mean, action, they do laugh at themselves, but they actually are funny. So this review is for them because I listened to their review of it and I was like, man, I need to see it. But before I start, I read the 4 issues of. Man, I don't like these covers, but it's the only one I could get when this came out. This is an awesome cover. I like how the Predator isn't like a over musculatured like Super Beam. Third issue's a nice cover. And there were so many variants. I would like to see. I haven't seen all of them, all the variants. Anyway, this was really good. I was shocked at how good it was, and how they wove. And did I miss? Okay. How they wove like Wolverine's past, and just like a lot of Wolverine stuff into the story. And I was just. They used different artists for like, because it goes back. It's like since Wolverine was like a young man till now. And I was like, I don't care, that he's never fought the Predator before. They used the whole. I hate how like he has so many holes in his memory and stuff has happened, and like stuff that has happened is fake, but they use that to like an advantage in this story. So it was really good. If you like Predator versus Wolverine, gotta hand it to Benjamin Percy, I think his name is. Let me double check. And it's Benjamin Percy, and it's violent and gory and kind of gross some parts. So man, yeah. If you have any interest at all in this. So I'm going to review 1990s Lionheart, directed by Sheldon Lettich, starring, Van Damme. But also it has Brian Thompson, Billy Blanks. The guy who fights like in the main fight, Attila, is played by Abdel Kassi, and also Harrison Page. And like I said, I listened to the Action podcast review of Lionheart, and I'd never seen it because when I discovered Van Damme, I think I first saw Cyborg. That was the first movie I saw him in. Oh no! It was Bloodsport. It was Bloodsport, and I thought it was awesome. And then I think I saw Cyborg and Kickboxer, and probably Universal Soldiers. So like I equated Van Damme with like Cyborg is like post-apocalyptic. Bloodsport is just like it's It's like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. There's no rules. So I like to see him in like a sci-fi action, like lawless world. So I remember seeing the commercials for Lionheart, and I was like, oh, this looks lame. In the trailer, like the guy's on Lionheart, and I was like, anything with heart. I remember like when Braveheart came out too. I was like, Braveheart. It sounds like love. I want to see love. Braveheart. So I finally watched it, and I liked it. But much like Action Podcast pointed out, Harrison Page, man, he carries this movie. He is the best part of it. You should listen to their review of it. The whole story is Van Damme, his brother, starts out right away. His brother's buying some coke from some drug dealers in a shady part of town. They throw him like a bag of coke. I assume it's like an 8-ball, and he tastes it, and he's also sugar. And then they pour gasoline on him and set him on fire, and he runs into a wall. But he survives, and he's all burnt and crispy, and pretty disgusting. And his wife and daughter go to the hospital, and they're just like, oh, if you can't pay for it, you gotta get out of here. And then she's leaving, and her husband's all like toasted. He's all Leon, which is Van Damme, who is in the French Foreign Legion. And finally, word gets to Van Damme that his brother was turned into a crispy critter, so he has to like desert the Foreign Legion. And I think this is where he fights. Oh, Billy Blanks is in this too. I love Billy Blanks. He's so great. So he makes his way to America, and he's trying to find his brother's wife, and he just hears like some commotion, and there's a fight under a bridge where Harrison Page is Joshua, that's his name, where he's like taking bets, and he's just this fast talking, smooth black dude. And then again, I gotta keep going back to the Action Podcast. They talk about, he hasn't come out in many movies, but he did every TV show in the 80s. He came on a couple other movies. Nothing I've seen or it was like snapped in my head. But yeah, he's the best. I mean, Van Damme, you come from Van Damme, and Van Damme at this time he's not a good actor even, but it's just his whole presence and his fighting skills, and he's like a Arnold or Stallone. It's like a rung lower than them. And I've been watching more Van Damme, and I was like, man, I like Van Damme a lot. So this is just like this is like Bloodsport again, or Street Fighter, where he's trying to make money to help his deceased, burnt brother's bodies, wife and kid, to get them out of the slum they're living in. So he's just taking fights. He meets this rich bitch that she just wants to have sex with him so bad, but he doesn't like her. Brian Thompson is in this too, and I knew that they weren't gonna fight, but I was like, man, why didn't they do a fight between Brian Thompson and Van Damme? Attila Abdel Kisi, I noticed that he was also in The Quest. He's Khan, the guy he fights in that, and dude, he's not a giant. He's 6'2". I mean, that's like a foot taller than I am, but he's just so solid. He's a monster. He's great. And then when Attila gets to America to fight, he gets off the plane and he has a real big fluffy cat. And then during the fight, I mean, even when he's kind of beaten up, he goes up to his cat and he tickles under its chin. I was okay. I know I'm not supposed to like Attila or root for him. He's a cat lover, and he loves his little. It's like a fat cat. He loves his cat. Usually, like the bad guys are like Bolo Young. Bolo Young would not. He would like kick a cat or a dog, or like he doesn't have pets. Yeah, like who else? I can't think of any villains, but yeah, most villains hate animals, but Attila, he loves cats. But also, like, even though this isn't the most action-packed, or there's no killing or gore or crazy like sci-fi stuff. In the final battle, I was really rooting for Van Damme. I would say this is like his Rocky movie. But Harrison Page as Joshua, yeah, you come for Van Damme, but you stay for Harrison Page, Joshua. Yeah, he's funny. He's like they said in Action. He's the best actor in this. Yeah, I watched it on Amazon Prime, but now I needed to add it to my collection. So I was thinking of the other band, like in this 80s, late 80s, early 90s, like Van Damme did Cyborg, Kickboxer, Double Impact, Death Warrant. I reviewed Death Warrant, but Death Warrant, I think I like Death Warrant a little better than this one. But Bloodsport, Universal Soldier, Hard Target, Time Cop. It's like 8 movies that he did that are all good. And Death Warrant, Double Impact, and this one were the ones I didn't watch till in the last like 10 years or so. Because like I said, like Universal Soldiers, that's like sci-fi action, weird stuff. Time Cop and Hard Target is the best Van Damme movie. And looking up, I wanted to find out who played Attila. And now there's like a movie coming out called The Last Kumite, and he's in it. I thought Van Damme and Scott Adkins would be in it, but they're not in it. But, I would like to see it. So Lionheart 1990, I would give it a solid 4 because of Van Damme and because of Harrison Page. And like he has a limp, but he's a fighter. He was a fighter too. They don't delve too much in it, but he says how Joshua lays it out on the line. He's like, people don't give a crap about you. As soon as you're like down and out, everyone forgets you. He's like, you have to watch out for yourself. And he's just so rapid fire talker. I believe everything he said. He was. And then at least he had this movie. I forgot he was like in Benson, Alf. Give Me a Break. He was in like every TV show. I would love to see like a comp. And I looked at I think he's like in his 70s, and he had a kid like in 2010. I was like, you go, Harrison, man, you pumped out and give us some more Page babies, girls and boys, and I want Harrison Page to impregnate Hispanic, Asian, white, black. Every race on the planet of the earth needs a Harrison Page baby. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's one part where I took some notes, but I wrote new notes, but there's one fight where Van Damme hits a dude and blood sprays on this girl, and she wipes it off, and I was like, this sick bitch, man. It's disgusting. The other fights are good too. Like, yeah, I also got to mention how Van Damme's he's not afraid. He's not like The Rock, or I don't know about John Cena, or like a lot of these new action actors. They don't want to look weak. But I think Van Damme just grew up watching movies where the hero, like, he takes his licks, he gets beat up, and he comes back, and that makes it even better. That happens a lot. Like, with some guys, I was like, how can this dude be? But and most of the fighters he fights are bigger than he is. You know, like a David and Goliath thing. So yeah, and he looks great. Yeah, I was like, man, I think I always liked Van Damme, but I just realized I like him a lot more than like. I love Stallone, but I would put Arnold at the top, then Stallone, and now Van Damme. I don't know who else would be better than him. And I could go on. I could love this. I just love to see Van Damme fight Chris Evans or Keanu. Or okay, I'm just rambling now, but yeah, Lionheart. If you have not seen it, or if you haven't seen a lot of Van Damme, check him out. Hard Target. I don't know if I've reviewed it, but if you haven't seen Hard Target, man, Hard Target is just. How do you do it? That's Hard Target. So, thanks, action, guys, and I'll see you later.